A quick introduction of you because Ambi, I just got to do a quick introduction of you because this really makes a lot of sense because Ambi has written many books, but I've managed to just get 4 of them on a piece of paper. And one that he's written is Strategic Brand Management. The other one is All the World's a Stage, a personal branding story. Sponge, Leadership Lessons, Learn from My Clients. Another one which I picked up was Strategic Brand Management, Building, Measuring, and Managing Brand Equity. He's written these amongst many other books, but most importantly, the man who's written all these books very recently said, building brands using digital media does not work. He goes on to say, traditional form of advertising seem to work for brand building, basically print. Ambi, your views on that. And why do you say this?
You're not going to introduce my 2 other worthy colleagues here?
No. In your shadow. You're a senior member, so.
I will come to them, of course.
Okay. I got roped into this. So thanks to an article I wrote for Business World, where I took a shot that there is something called the world of performance marketing and there's a world of brand marketing. And this is based on a discussion I'd had with Dipali some years ago, that the world of performance marketing doesn't understand brand marketing. The world of brand marketing doesn't understand performance marketing. And as I keep consulting with new age clients, I see this more and more, that they see the world through very narrow space of click-throughs, conversions, cost per click, cost per lead, cost per this, cost per that. And they don't get the bigger picture that there is a whole world called brand marketing. And if you invest in brand marketing, you will actually be able to get more out of your performance marketing. That's something which is lost on them. Obviously, because they're being driven to deliver on metrics by the VCs or the investors in that company. So I don't think I said performance marketing is all bad. All I said was there is a world for performance marketing and there is a world for brand marketing. As good marketers, you should be able to, Riyad, look at both. So I called it the yin and yang of marketing, that both should work together. It is not as if I'm saying that performance marketing and digital marketing is to be thrown out and we'll go back to advertising in television and magazines and newspapers. That will save us. It will not, right? So you need to balance the two. Digital marketing offers a lot of benefits, right? Whether a guy is clicking, going and ordering your product or whatever, right? Which newspaper or magazine or TV or radio cannot. So I didn't say we should kill one. I said we should live with both. We should learn how to manage both. I mean, just 2 days ago, a VC referred someone to me whom they invested in. And they said, look, how do we, we've been in business for 4 years. We've got some 300 crores revenue. We spend 80 crores a year on digital marketing. We don't know how to do TV. How do you do TV? So I had to spend 1 hour, taking them through TRP, GRP, all that kind of stuff. The same thing is applicable to, they can come and ask, how do I do magazines? How do I do newspapers? So there's a whole generation of marketers out there who do not have a clue on how to do brand marketing. And to that extent, all of us here or from the traditional school of marketing have done a lousy job in converting them. So that's it. Back to you.
So Ambi, I like to call out the good parts, and that's why I just called out the brand thing. So
made it sensational,
yeah,
typical, newspaper type, sensationalism, very sensational kind of people. You can't trust them.
Typical media, magazine, credible media. So anyway, coming to Shashi Sinha, of course, he's the CEO of advertising company IPG. He's also served. Still on the board?
Thanks for adding the G.
He's still on the board or was on the board of a media company as well.
I'm on the board.
Still on the board. And, Shashi has also been given a Lifetime Achievement Award by the AAI. Shashi, before I come with some data to you to buttress some points which I think favors magazine journalism, I would like to also introduce, he needs no introduction, very intelligent man, to be a CEO of India today, he has to be an intelligent man. But he, like me, knocks on the doors of the Shashis and the Ambis to get advertisements for our survival. So Manoj, I really want to know, after I get to Shashi, I really want to know if what they actually tell us today is actually what they tell you when you go to get the final advertisement or the PO. So quickly at the end of, at 7:30 in the evening, the last thing you want is statistics, but I have to do that. Shashi, I was trying to like allow some information about how magazines, they say 61% of magazine readers take action after being exposed to print ads. They search online and on websites about the advertisements placed. Magazines ads generate 36% increase in brand favorability and a 47% increase in ad awareness. 70% readers say the survey says they gained important information about a specific magazine ad. And they also go to say that 19 to 29-year-old people, which is what most people target, for them 60% believe the advertisements that come in print magazine is credible, and the older lot believe 50% is credible. With all this data and with you handling the different verticals that you do, how would you, I'm not trying to question, how would you say, when you allocate ads with this kind of data, how do you allocate based on different spends?
So, I mean, thank you for the first time I heard this data, so it's very impressive. You see, in a classical organization such as ours, we are here to do the panel discussion. Our youngsters do the buying. The youngsters, and for a variety of reasons, I'm not running them down. That's their day job. So I'm preempting what probably Manoj would say. So their day job is to look at the numbers. They look at, there's only one data source, which is the readership survey, which also not come for the last 4 years. If we are lucky and if I have my way, we'll revive it. But for the time being, it's not there. So, the last one was 2019 or whatever. They look at that and there are no magazines there. They look at newspapers and they do CPMs and they say, the number, the drill. And they say, okay, this is what it is. So I think there are two parts to this from where I come. And that's how it is. So whatever we may say, that's how the business runs. Because magazines don't feature very prominently on what they call readership or reach or whatever you want to call it. So then someone says, the client says, my wife reads this magazine. Why did you advertise? It makes sense. And all that happens. So that youngster there does not know this data which you just read out. I had two summations to make. And, when we were growing up, and Ambi was my senior at the agency, and he knew more about stats than anyone of us put together. So
no one has been senior to Shashi ever. Okay, so don't believe a word of what he said.
We worked together, guys. In case you know the banter, we worked together for more than 30 years, maybe more than 30 years.
30 years we were together, sitting in neighboring cabins, having lunch together every day.
So there was a bit of a background, the having fun. So coming back to this, what happened was when we were growing up, at that point in time, we used to invest as a company in a lot of stuff. So, and I'm sure a lot of publishers here will find it kid stuff, what I'm going to say. So there was this whole thing of, how do you make smaller media relevant? How do you see what the engagement of your ad? Engagement is a very big word and a powerful word. How do you measure it? And a lot of people would do these reading noting studies. The reading noting studies would be to the stuff which you just read out. That is not about the reach of the newspaper or the magazine. It's what is being picked up in terms of my ad. And, and there was a lot of the stuff used to come out, Now today what's happened, that magazines have the power to do that. I'm not saying therefore you do a reading noting study point today, but I'm saying you have the power and the ability to develop time spent. Before I come to time spent, I'll tell you why the power of time spent is very important. Because credibility, everything comes from the time spent. In television, my dear friend Gaurav Banerjee was speaking 90 to a dozen, but end of it, his business is all about time spent. The television business, content business, entirely about time spent. And how time spent is there. It's all, if you look at reading, you'll be surprised what I'm going to say, and probably at least your brother Jen will know, that, if you look at TV news, the channel which he runs and what Gaurav runs, there's no difference in reach. The reach of Aaj is as much, if not more, than his most popular series, Anupama. It's the time spent which makes the difference. On news, probably there is a 30-second, 60-second average viewer time spent. Here it is average time will be 20 minutes. So the difference is 40 times. Now you guys have not measured the time spent. And today with the digital medium, there's a huge opportunity to measure time spent. You see, on digital, you can measure engagement. You can do many, many things to measure. You can also measure all the metrics you read out. So I would say the viewer may be same, may be different on print, I mean, your physical copy and your digital copy. Yeah. But the behavior patterns would be similar. Someone reading a story which is put out on India Today, you know, if you measure the time spent there, that's one aspect, you know. So I think there is merit to evangelizing this aspect. The TV guys have done it brilliantly. They call stickiness. They call on that engagement and stickiness. The minute you establish reach, you can establish. Yeah. But if you establish the stickiness, time spent, engagement, whatever words you want to, then a lot of this will fall into place. So that's my submission. That may be the way to go. But I hear what you're saying. The numbers are, I think, very difficult to evangelize when our youngsters are looking at hardcore data in front of the machine.
Manoj, I'm going to come to you, but just a counter question, Shashi, to say to what you said. You said, one thing you said is the engagement. You also said the time spent, the numbers in digital. But you also, like, you know, what, when you talk about a survey, you know, there's so many things can distract you from a digital thing. Like, pop up, you know, looking away from the screen. How is this actually measured? Is it actually credible? Whereas, you know, when you have, and this data is IRS data, it's IRS data which says 50% of the consumers are so involved with the ad spend that they check on the website or online about this.
IRS doesn't measure this.
Well, I got it from IRS.
No, IRS does, so IRS will give you reach. After that's all qualitative data which comes. I'm surprised now that I know IRS as well, in spite of having run it for 2 years, 3
Okay,
years.
so let's say, how do you
Yeah.
say digital?
So I'm saying there are ways to measure time spent. It's not very difficult because what is engagement? It gives a combination of reach and time spent. Assume that there is a theoretical way. Have faith in what I'm saying. That assuming what I'm saying is right, the numbers can be measured. All I'm proposing to the industry is that's the way to look at surrogate for digital. See, the problem is somewhere I read during the course of the program that you guys are looking at, you know, what Ambi alluded to, programmatic, that your digital products into programmatic. That's the biggest blunder to make because that gets sold as junk, you know, it's sold as programmatic engines. You never get right value for that. But if you were to use your digital product, profile may be different, audience may be different. The limited point I'm making is use them as a surrogate for your main magazine. Or do reading and noting studies. Or do, you know, if editor picks up and says, listen, I've done this study in 10 cities and this is what they are, this is the efficacy of your ad. So that's the way of countering reach or the lack of reach, which at times of day will give or someone else will give. Is the limited point I'm making.
Right. So Manoj, from a person who knocks on their door.
Yeah. Firstly, I would like to thank Shashi and MB for being here. And I know they're busy people. So they've taken out time from their really busy schedule. So we should give them a big applause. And also because they're custodians of various media streams and so for us as well. And I think amongst all the CEOs, Shashi is one of the most courageous that he has walked into a room which is full of frustrated people because we get so many rejections every day. And people do not look at what Shashi was talking about, that we are here for a panel discussion, but actually on ground, something else is happening. So he's most courageous because we spoke to Vikram. He was there last night for a dinner. So we told him that to come here. He slipped out. He said, I have a client meeting. So we called Prashanth also. And he said, I'm not feeling well. So I'm saying that he's the most courageous, that he's ready to face the room full of frustrated people. So give him another big hand.
So can I, you know, this is nothing. I am a glutton for punishment. I do the television rating job. I was the TechCom chair for 10, 12 years. Now I'm the chairman of the thing. And the aggression which comes there. So if I'm used to that, I've done a lot of thick skin.
No, sir, that was a joke, jokes apart. On a serious note, I think it's all about evolution. You know, the media evolution, how the media has evolved over a period of time, how magazines have evolved over a period of time. And if you walk down the history lane, very interesting fact, I don't know how many people in the hall know that where did this term magazine come from? So I don't know if somebody knows or not. So it comes from an Arabic word called magazine, and which means it's a storehouse. It means a storehouse, and it means a store of or a depot of arms and ammunition. So I think when the whole magazine term was conceptualized, it was conceptualized in a way that this whole concept is going to be a house which is storing arms and ammunition, which is quality content, etc., which I think is the inherent quality of magazines, which has been sustained and retained till now for so many years. I think, and if you look at since morning, we've been hearing the inherent quality of magazines, that it brings in clarity. Today, look at the media scenario. It's such a chaotic media. If you look at news, the news is getting bombarded on you from all sides. And the biggest numbers, which is like 100 million, 150 million, the social media is giving you most misinformation, right? In that chaotic world. And what happens on TV? They're just debating what is the takeaway. There's no takeaway. At the end of the English debates that you see, there is no takeaway. So in this whole chaotic scenario, somebody who's coming in and giving you clarity and a perspective, you read one story of India today, not that I work for India today, you get absolute clarity. For that matter, if you look at an international title, Economist, one-page cover story, and it's such a nice perspective on the global scenario. So I'm saying that, in this whole mess, nobody is looking at the qualitative aspects. I'm 100% in agreement with MB, what he said in the beginning, and I have that in my points, that there is a problem, the way people are looking at magazines. So there are rejections, but, down the line, like Shashi said, that, on ground, they're just looking at stats, machines, etc. Is that the way to look at media? Because then you're forgetting the qualitative aspects. So it's very important that you do look at the qualitative aspects which magazines stand for. Now, if you look at, whether when we go out in the market, everybody says that magazine padhta kaun hai, right? But I think the whole scenario has changed. We were talking about evolution of magazines. They have evolved. So if there is a print version of a magazine, there is a different kind of a, person who's consuming the print version. There is a different kind of a person who's consuming the same content from the website or from my newsletter, or for that matter, from digital magazine. It's totally different. But so magazine is getting consumed in different formats. And I think over a period of time, if you look at magazines, the way they have performed, it has become an omni-channel of content powerhouse. We are content, and this is the best content that one can get. So why the agency is not, if we go to, I am a CEO now, I lead so many P&Ls, but that sales bit, it's still alive in me, and I jump into the market every day, even today. I go for the smallest to the biggest pitches. I know Shashi goes for so many pitches, but, so I do also go. And the way agency people, behave is so surprising. And it's happening from last one decade.
Why do the agency people behave this way?
No, let me just complete. Let me just complete. So what I'm saying is that, over the period of time, we have created this evolved magazine ecosystem, which is delivering news to different set of, it's a large country, different set of animals who are consuming long form or short form. Raj said in the morning, fine dining, magazines are fine dining experience. So somebody's, consuming snacky content from social media or from digital media, right? But somebody comes in and does fine dining at the end of the weekend, and it gives you a perspective. Fine dining always gives you retention, because you remember that fine dining that you had in some restaurant. So retention, that remains with the magazine, that you consume the content, it has retained with you for a longer period of time. So all these, and credibility is very important, which with misinformation on the social media, there is no credibility. Those people are depending on us. They want content from us to go into their platforms so that, they get some credibility out of us. But yet when media planning happens, the maximum money is going over there to a non-credible media, which is very funny. Now, no, I'll also, one second, I'll just tell you, since, I said frustrated people, let me vent it out. Let me vent it out. So what I'm saying is,
and you're speaking on behalf of both of us.
yeah, one second. I'll just, so. No, so I said, I have huge respect for Shashi, and I think, so what I'm saying is that on one side, we have been, yes,
of course.
So one side, I'm saying that we are omni-channel content powerhouse. That is one thing that we have done, and we have evolved. On the other side, I think pandemic came in as a big learning to us. So Shashi and MB, what happened was that when the country came to a grinding halt, at that point of time, my chairman told me that it's been 46 years or 47 years. We have not skipped a single issue. So magazine has to be published. People are fed up of watching TV. People are fed up of consuming digital media. They want to see, touch and feel a physical product in their hands. So we must continue that tradition that we had, that we will not skip an issue. So we spoke to cargo airlines, because there were no passenger airlines. They were charging a bomb 3 times, 4 times. We flew the copies to 5 cities. From there, the Aaj Tak vans would carry the copies to some tent cities, and we would do free distribution from the milk booths, from medical shops, from grocery stores, bread and milk stores, etc., etc. And when the pandemic finished, we suddenly realized that, the conventional channels came back, but this non-conventional channel also remained with us. So instead of one, we had two. And then gradually we went to, multiple channels of delivery. So one side, we were doing multiple channels of delivery of content, and then the physical magazine. I have my colleague Deepak over there. He did a lovely job on this, ecosystem of delivery systems of magazines, the new verticals. I would like him to come for a minute, 30 seconds to tell what, and the industry is doing that. It's not only India today. Now the industry does that. So Deepak, can you just 30 seconds tell us what we did?
Hello. Yeah. During the pandemic, when everything was shut down, what we did, we started distribution. The magazine was distributed in Delhi. We did through Safal outlets and Mother Dairy outlets, and we had a lot of grocery stores who came up. And what actually happened is, one of the examples that I keep quoting in Southex is our van reached a little later. So the grocery outlet came out, started screaming at us, saying that, why are you delivering it so late? And the reason that we asked, it's a pandemic, nobody is here. He said that people were standing outside, and during the lockdown, nobody was supposed to stand. So people were waiting for the magazines to come down. And because of it, there's a crowd which came down, and the cops had to come down. So that is the kind of distribution that we started. Post the lockdown, now, in fact, Manoj mentioned that we opened, the regular outlets opened, and also the grocery outlets continued. Now we've also started, the quick commerce has also now come in, which Manoj missed mentioning. Quick commerce is coming, now Blinkit is coming, now we've got Zepto coming in. The kind of channels that have started, now we've got Big Basket coming in, e-commerce has suddenly become big. So a number of channels which have also added.
Just a quick thing. I think we've got to catch these guys while they are here.
Yeah, sure.
And make them answer a lot of questions of ours. So we'll talk to them about what. You got that?
So I was just speaking on the other channels, new channels.
No, so I'll just finish quickly. So, despite all these things, Shashi and MB, the situation, whether the magazine industry has got justice in India or not, just look at these comparison of figures. Now I'm talking about US industry. US magazine is $30 billion industry. Newspaper is $28 billion, smaller than magazines. Can you beat it? UK magazine is $6.2 billion, whereas newspaper is $5.2 billion. Now, this is like, again, magazine is bigger than newspaper. There's overall revenue, including subscription, newsstand, advertising, everything. But advertising happens to be a largest component. Now you look at India. Indian magazine industry is $0.15 billion, whereas newspapers is $3.9 billion. So magazine happens to be only 4%.
Ask the question, why did you guys?
Yeah, so that's what the.
So in this scenario, and also in this time where credible news is actually in today's world is really what's required. Ambi and Shashi,
In that order.
you heard what all he had to say. But tell me like how.
Can I be blunt? Yeah, since you give me less time, I have to be blunt. With your permission, I'll go first.
Please.
So our boss, we had a common boss, and you know well. He taught us one thing. He said the onus of communication is the communicator. What do I mean by that? I'll give you an anecdote, and from there I'll build on this, sir. So Manu spoke about, our planners not giving them. It's a small story, but the larger point I'm making. That, 20 years back, when Mohini Bullar used to be the boss from the sales side, used to walk into any agency, the agency would shake up. The MD downwards, everyone would be there at the reception to receive her. Yeah. I had a client who we still have. I was lucky that point in time, 20 years old, Bajaj. Every back page used to be booked by them. You know what a struggle it was to get the back page going.
10 years.
Sorry?
10 years.
Correct. So thanks for clarifying. So what changed?
Shashi, you should also tell them. Mohini Bullar had said, Ulka Advertising will get one complimentary copy of India Today.
Correct. Today they're all lying outside, So what changed? Correct question I'm asking you. So if the owners today, our agent business. And you know, we compete by day, and I keep saying it repeatedly, and I'm purposely taking away from finding solutions to your business. Because I can find solutions, but you know, I'm talking of our business. So two of our worthy friends and competitors, we compete by day, but we collaborate by night. PK, the names you took, PK and Vikram. So we said, listen, our business model is not working. We are operating at whatever percentage margins, we no money. When we don't have money, therefore youngsters we hire, those youngsters sit in front of machines and do whatever they have to do. And their television, you know, glorious medium, they get reach, they look at the numbers, attacks that they do. TV guys are spending, I just small things, small things, I'm seeing a lot because I'm mindful of time. TV guys say, we want measurement. Yeah. They're saying the same Gaurav Banerjee, 0.6, 0.8, 0.1% of their revenue they put into measurement. Will any of you guys do that? None of you. If you ask, forget you are the big publisher, they say no. So you see, any industry, the owners are sorting it out in the industry. We are doing what we are doing. We said, listen, our model is broken. Just like you are complaining, we are complaining our model. We don't get the right talent, our margins are shrinking, we compete against each other, we're dropping prices. So we're doing a lot, suffice it to say, I don't want to say, some clients sitting here. So finally, we take it into ours, the 6 of us, the hundreds of those clients. Who's stronger? So you put one, I'll tell you a story, any one media, whether it's TV or print or whatever, one story comes negative. How many people jump up to you saying, no, people don't read magazines. I'm not even getting to the quantitative stuff of reach and numbers and all that. One story which comes, which is negative, how many people call you up directly, Manoj? I rest my case. No, rest I will not say. So I've said many things.
No, I think
The onus is on you guys to get your act together.
So I
Definitely
must
get
tell
your point,
you
definitely
that
get your point,
One
Shashi. I think-
one story, and we get banned. Even today, we got banned by
So do
a
50
government.
stories.
State
I'll
government.
tell you a counter story, and I don't want to say this publicly. Client of mine, one story, 2, 3, 4, 5. Finally, you have to find peace. Finally, you guys have to come together to, and I'm not saying therefore I'm saying 2 negative stories. That's not my intention to say that. But I'm saying many structural issues. You sit down with the core team of not like this. Some 6, 7 of you sit down and say, listen, these are the 7 things to be done. Some of it will happen, some is evangelizing, some from our side. So otherwise, in a debate, we will say nice things. I will say nice things, correct? And go away from here, nothing will happen.
Like, I think it's for time for us to also introspect, for us to introspect and possibly get the guidance of Shashi and Ambi on this, how to both of you to get how to go forward. But Ambi, he was talking about quickly because we just got 4 minutes left. He was talking about, you got events, he's talking about digital, you talk about print. So you talk about magazine 360. All right. So when you were advising us, when we were the week and you were the Ulka, things have changed completely. I think it was very self-reliant on print. But you've observed the market, you observe the trends, you're still observing the trends, you come out with all these books and out of marketing strategy, building brands. From a magazine point of view, Shashi said what we've got to do, flex our muscles a bit. From your point of view, using magazine 360, how do we go about things?
It's a big question, Riyad. I mean, the days when I used to work on your brand was very simple. We used to measure every week how many copies we sold, and cover stories, swung the circulation 10%, 15% this way, that way. TRG, rest in peace, was editor. And things are different today. Today you're delivering, like for example, when I'm abroad, I get all your magazines on my Maxter, right? But I don't even know it's being counted. Right. And Maxter is superb for keeping track of, Indian news. I mean, it's superb. So I don't even know whether, for example, a media planner is aware that a magazine content can be consumed in paper form, in a Maxter kind of an app form, or in a website form.
Sorry to
What
interrupt.
are the numbers?
4 years, sorry for interrupting. 4 years, I personally worked as ABC chairman on the digital measurement of newspapers. End of the day, people were not willing to pay. They said, this ComScore, why should we do? We were working at integrated ABC plus, TV plus, print plus digital. 4 years, we paid Nielsen some money in advance. I signed the contract with Nielsen. So then the problem is,
True.
So you have to, like I said in the beginning, right? You have to evangelize with clients and media planners the need for brand marketing, and the brand marketing can be done best through mediums like magazines. Magazine could be physical magazine, e-magazine, Maxter kind of thing. But someone has to see the big picture. I don't think what Shashi said. I don't think the youngsters are seeing the big picture. They look at number has dropped. Sure. So you have to do evangelizing with brand managers. You have to do, joint promotions with brand managers so that they can extract the full power of.
No, sir. So the same thing is happening that I have forgotten the agency route. I swear, I've forgotten the agency route. I go to the clients directly.
Absolutely. I think
but the thing is,
Vicketon,
sir-
I remember a client of mine in Chennai,
But the thing is,
Nippon Paint partnered with Vicketon on several activities and they got great results and they think they're still continuing with you.
So I think Ambi and Shashi in conclusion feel that we should flex our muscles in certain ways.
Many ways, not necessarily negative.
Yeah.
Okay, let me say it rightly, so that that one example, you guys have to get together and create ways of doing it. There's many ways of doing it. Be it measurement, be it the 7 ways of evangelize. So more than flexing muscles, evangelizing is the word, which is the right word. And there are many ways of doing it.
Right. Just to conclude, I think there was a lot of talk, but like just to conclude, just you think, Ambi, you first, Shashi second, Magazine 360 has got a future.
I sit on the board of the Hindu and I'm delighted at the way, Frontline has been revamped, the new director, new editor we have. And I think it gives good competition to Caravan. I read Caravan regularly. I think it's a great magazine. Frontline is fantastic. Sports Star is outstanding. Look at the Sports Star website. It's outstanding. So I believe magazines have a great future. But what Shashi said, you guys have to believe in it first. You guys have to believe in it. You have to start investing in it. You have to evangelize.
I think the power of, I won't use 360, but 360 is a very large word, but I think the power of print, which is your magazine, the physical form and the digital form, the combination is a very powerful way if you sell it right. They feed off each other. And since we're out of time, I could have elaborated on it, but in my mind, you guys are selling it separately. Yes or no, Manoj?
no, we try.
Most people are selling it separately. You integrate it, the power, the money will come from your physical copy, the performance, all what the numbers you read for me. I purposely asked you a trick question. The numbers will, the proof of demonstration will come from the digital part. The combination is very deadly.
Well, I think that's one of the biggest, in spite of being corrected, all of us being corrected or being shown something, I think that's one of the biggest positives we as magazine publishers can take, that there is a future for magazine and it's the onus on us. And we can get the guidance of Shashi and Ambi as well. And I think, thanks so much, Shashi. Thanks so much, Ambi. And for the frustrated Manoj, me, all of us, thanks so much.